So guys, what we're seeing in Canada right now and what their government has authorized is one of the most atrocious, abominable things any of us have ever witnessed. So basically, their government introduced a program back in 2016 called MAID, M-A-I-D, Medical Assistance in Death. And it's just as it sounds, it's euthanasia. We have similar things in America, but to a lesser extent. California has a provision, New Jersey has a provision, but to a lesser extent. Canada has full-blown embraced this. And they introduced it, in a seemingly benign way, right? In the most justifiable way, they did it in 2016, right? We're wanting to help people in their misery. If someone has an incurable disease, they have no way to recover, they have cancer, it's something that is going to kill them and imminently kill them, we're going to provide them assistance to end their misery and suffering in the most peaceable way, right? That's how they introduced it, okay? And it's still wrong, ethically horrible and horrendous, but it never stops there, right? So right now, I think in 2021, they broadened it, right, to include, just for example, people who have a disability, someone who has a psychological oppression, basically, all right, psychologically suffering. And you could think about like someone maybe who's homeless, who can't get out of their plight, who has, an enduring suffering condition by being homeless, or maybe someone who has a mental disability, something, or a physical disability. I mean, think about how sick that is, guys. It's no different than what happened in Nazi Germany. It's the exact same type thing, okay? Eugenics, very similar. And there's an intent behind this. And it doesn't stop here, but before I include something else, let me just give you some data really quickly to support this. Over 5% of every death in Canada can be attributed to the MAID program in 2024. Over 16,000 people died. 16 deaths. How many people? I mean, and it doesn't matter. Even if someone has an incurable, I can somehow understand that argument. That's not even like, and still I would disagree fundamentally with that, but it's been broadened to include so many different types of people with different conditions. And let me tell you where they're ultimately going with this. They're going to include, okay, right now they say no minors, no one under 18 can enter into the MAID program, all right? But it's not going to stop there, guys. Evil does not stop. It continues to proliferate. It continues to expand. It continues to metastasize. That's what this is. And they're going to include children at some point. Think about that. And if you don't believe me, think about 30 years ago or 20 years ago, if I were to tell you that certain states are authorizing 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old children to castrate themselves without their parents' consent. That has happened. And thankfully, we've resisted, and that's starting to regress a little bit, but it's still there. This is what's happening in Canada, guys, and it's trying to proliferate all across the globe because it's inspired by hell, the doctrine of hell. We got to rise up and stand against this stuff, guys.